European SharePoint Office 365 and Azure Conference 2018 in Copenhagen. We now want to discuss the topic of user UI and design. And with me is?
Beatriz Oliveira from BindTuning.
And you're from Portugal, right?
Yes, correct. We are located in Porto.
Your company is existing for several years. We know each other for years.
Yes.
And you're in SharePoint design customization for years. Can you a little bit explain what you are doing with BindTuning?
Yeah, so BindTuning has evolved greatly. We started actually as a theming company. We were very focused on the branding part of working with SharePoint and SharePoint intranets. And we have evolved a solution, so not only the branding part of the process, which is related to how you translate a corporate brand to a SharePoint intranet, but also on improving the user experience of the entire solution. So right now we have a larger offering that covers pretty much the entire user interface and user experience scenario in SharePoint intranets.
How do you see the development of customizing and doing corporate design on modern SharePoint sites, on a modern infrastructure? Because I think in former times, companies invested hundreds of thousands of euros to customize and branding their sites, and now you got mostly out of the box, and the way is do it less. How do you see that?
Microsoft has done a great job in creating a base framework that is probably good enough for many scenarios, and they have a tool set that is very interesting at this point. So they have created a clean design, so I would say very universal, but definitely branding and custom branding still plays a very important role. There are numerous companies out there. Obviously, the more we talk about larger companies, the more this is important. Companies that invest thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars or euros in their corporate brand, and that translation to the employee is still crucial. So if you talk to someone from the internal communications department, they will tell you that obviously they need to align everyone on the same page. There has to be a way to communicate the company's values. There has to be a way to bring everyone together towards kind of that sense of belonging, you know,
and identification, right?
Of course. So that is why companies have brands, right? So that people, whenever they see a color, and this is studied, right? When you go to design, you know that typically people recognize a company faster by its color than by anything else, by its name, by its text. So, for example, color, something as simple as that still plays a very important role. And then every other branding aspect, obviously, the typography, how you should use a logo. Navigations are different, not just because they're different. They're different because internally someone defined that for that particular company, what makes sense is something that is very specific. So structural elements, branding elements, they all play a very important role in an intranet, and they all tell a story about that specific company.
But how can you do it in Office 365 when Microsoft changes the platform every second week, and you do something on customization and branding on Office 365, and 2 weeks later it doesn't work again? What's your experience and what's your recommendation?
I can only talk about BindTuning, right? So I can't talk about the rest of the solutions. The way that we do it and the way that we've been doing it since the beginning, we have always done it based on a lot of code generation and a bunch of generation engines that we run that do allow us to be very agile in that process. And that means that we only literally teach our engines like what is the new version of SharePoint, and then we regenerate our products. So, and this is the way we've been doing it since day one. And that is what allows us to be able to deploy new versions literally as fast as Microsoft. So if something comes out that breaks one feature, we just teach the engine, okay, what's the new version? And all our customers are able to go back to BindTuning. And even for the custom themes and for whatever custom elements they have created within BindTuning, they're able to just click one button and grab a new version. So it's as simple as that. But only by using a lot of generation, you're able actually to keep up with their pace. Because yes, Microsoft is right now doing changes very fast. So you have to be a very agile company to be able to keep up.
Yeah, Microsoft is taking parts of the work from the browser out into Teams. And Teams is a very consistent app, not meant for branding. How does this fit in the customization story?
I don't know if it's that close, and you can see that some companies are popping up that are actually trying to change that a bit. We also have something in our roadmap. I don't want to talk too much for now about it because obviously it's not out, but I believe that we will start seeing different products and solutions trying to kind of address different ways to to offer solutions for teams that are not just the out of the box.
So you see really a demand for corporate branding teams?
We see, yes, and we actually have a lot of customers asking for that. So obviously, in terms of branding, we're limited, and for now we can't do it. But customers do demand that, and they do ask for that possibility. And even in other products. So if you go to Dynamics, it's the same thing. This is not a Dynamics conference, but obviously companies using SharePoint, typically they eventually also use Dynamics as a CRM. And there are a lot of customers that ask us, okay, so how can we also brand Dynamics, now that we already have our SharePoint sorted out? So this is actually a need.
Beatriz, thank you very much for your insights and have a good conference.
Thank you, Michael. It was a pleasure.